Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. My name is Joe Addabbo, State Senator for the 15th Central District. I have the privilege and honor of representing that area. And welcome to our webinar tonight for what is National Small Business Month in May. Where would we be without our small businesses? Really a backbone for our community, employing many of our local residents, but having many challenges. Rising costs of utilities and rent, trying to find workers, dealing with other issues, challenges that even the government sometimes throws their way. So what we do here during National Small Business Month is not only acknowledge and thank our small businesses, but highlight their challenges, highlight the need to find a way to help them. That really is part of what National Small Business Month is all about. How do we help our small businesses thrive and have a bright future? The Empire State Development in New York State recently did a study, and they said that 98% of our businesses in New York State have 100 employees or less. It's a lot. And 25 or less, it was 94%. So we're seeing our small businesses, again, provide such a service for our diverse communities, but they also are such a vibrant part of our economics, our community service. They are a part of our community, but they do face challenges, like I said. Post-COVID, it's been tough to find workers. Again, the rising cost of everything. Online shopping is certainly a challenge and competition for these small businesses, now. And if somebody doesn't feel safe going to one of their businesses, a small business in the community, they'll go right online. And that's, again, a challenge for small businesses. But here we are, we're in National Small Business Month. We're trying to figure out a way to help. And one way of helping is giving them some financial stability, trying to figure out a way to help them going forward financially, and what are their options. And I am so proud and happy to partner today with Beth Page Federal Credit Union. Certainly a welcome addition to my district in Ozone Park. But they're going to talk today about how we can help small businesses going forward. Now, with me today is Rob Suarez, Assistant VP for Beth Page Federal Credit Union. I want to thank Rob for being with us today. Rob, how's everything doing?
Senator, thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. It's really an honor and a pleasure to collaborate with Senator and see the value and the importance of giving back to the community, not only to the constituents, but also to the small businesses who really are excelling and make an impact in our communities. They're the ones who want to excel their business. They're the ones who are creating the local jobs. So when we hear those stats, Senator, it is troubling, and it's our pleasure to be part of these initiatives, whether it's big or small, in person or through virtual. Virtual is a new channel that we have been experiencing during the pandemic and has really been successful, giving the small businesses the opportunity to be able to pick up their phones, grab and listen to a Zoom, a webinar, and really get the resources. So this evening, Senator, and welcome everyone who's taken the time to be with us today. More importantly, I want to applaud you all for what you do in the community, especially running a small businesses with the climate that we're all facing. But there is opportunities, and there are still resources out there that one can excel their business. So we're going to keep this on a positive note and see how we can move it forward. Before I turn it over to my colleague, I just want to let everybody on the call to understand who Beth Page Federal Credit Union is. Well, Beth Page Federal Credit Union was established in 1941. We were the Grumman Credit Union, so we have aviation experience from the background. That is who our roots were when we were established in 41. We were able to grow in the community of Long Island named Beth Page. We were able to expand throughout all of Long Island, Nassau, and Suffolk County, and proud to say now the tri-state area, especially Queens, where we have a location in Sunnyside, Ozone Park, and also coming for the fall, Forest Hills. This is not for us to say to what the Senator mentioned earlier, this is not about being an alternative, but a choice and an option to have your banking needs. How do you manage your money? How do you see what resources are there for you to where you can make turnkey decisions that are going to impact your bottom line? We offer an array of products, not only just for the consumers, but my colleague Tom Fenn will be talking about business banking and the services that they offer as well too. But these are some of the things that we do. We are philanthropical, and we are very committed to our communities and giving back. We're very big on financial education, educational wellness, not only on financial literacy topics, but an array of what's going on in the current environment as well too. We do programming for identity theft. We know identity theft is on the rise. So we're always looking to hear, and please do share with the Senator's office or with us. Feel free to share any information or any topics that you would like us to do for the future. We'll be open and willing to see what we can do and offer as well too. So with no further ado, I really want everyone on this call to have the opportunity to benefit and ask the questions from the professionals. Like myself, I'm in community development for Beth Page for 21 years. I've had the opportunity to work from the teleline to the community initiatives, understanding the needs of our community. And this is one way that I'm very passionate about and enjoy. Not only are you going to hear about the products for small businesses, but also some of the services that we do. We run a tax program, which is a partnership through the IRS, where we let low moderate income individuals who are making 60,000 or less, we do their taxes for free. It's a program that we've been doing for over the last 20 years. And just within a 10-week program over the 20 years, we were able to bring back to the local economy community $30 million, which is a significant program that we've been running for the last 20 years. So these are some of the things that, as a financial institution, we're a non-for-profit, but yes, we're profitable. The profits go back to our membership. So anyone who actually joins a credit union is actually buying a share. And with that, you are having access and then the option to bank with a non-for-profit credit union cooperative, where you could actually receive better rates on deposits, better lending rates on your loan products. So with that said, I think that gives you a good synopsis of who Beth Page is, and more importantly, of what we can offer you. Big or small, we definitely want to be inclusive of everyone and see how we can enrich everyone in making strong financial decisions, whether it be personal or for their business. So with no further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Tom Finn, business banking, who has been years of experience. So please make sure you jot your questions down. Ask any questions. Please raise your hand, or if not, feel free to just with our presentations. What we like to do is make it more an opportunity, not for me to sit here and talk to you for a half hour, but really for you, give you the opportunity to talk to us. So with no further ado, Tom.
Thank you, Rob. And as I was saying a little bit earlier on the call, I kind of chuckle a little bit when we say small business. I think small business is big business, quite candidly. I've been doing this for quite some time, as Rob said, both on the retail and business banking side, people with their heart and soul in their businesses. We've done a lot of studies in the banking industry, also at Beth Page and also myself over the years. And what we've come to find is there's really 5 key topics that are on the minds of all the business owners. And so the first one is managing daily cash flow. And that entails the checking, savings, effectively moving the cash flow, maximizing the return on the cash day to day, so to speak. And there's different levels of how we can handle this depending on the stages of the business. So I'll talk general for the most part, and then if we have some Q&A, we get a little bit more granular, or we could do one-offs through the senator's offices as well. So the managing daily cash flow is a top priority for the businesses. The other one is financing cash flow and growth, which is your lines of credit, your term loans, your mortgages, your leases, et cetera. The third one is protecting the assets of the business and the cash flows as well. Number 4, which is something that's challenging, probably more so in recent years than in past, is attracting and retaining employees. And there's some things that some of the I'll call them financial institutions, banks and credit unions do to help businesses achieve that goal. And then the final one, which is near and dear to someone who is probably in a more mature stage of the business, is building and preserving wealth, and then transitioning that, whether it be to the next generation or selling that to a party that would like to take over the business. So in managing the cash flow, one of the things that I feel it is important for everybody is don't take your banking for granted, your banking relationship. You should shop around and make sure that you're getting the best deal for your money. There are different levels. So if you're starting out, your cash might be a little bit tight. You want to find an account where your activity, you're not being charged for every deposit, every dollar that's deposited, every item that's deposited. And there are organizations out there that provide that. If you're on the larger size, medium to seasoned, you may be required in some banks to keep a large deposit in the operating account to offset fees. And you want to shop that out as well to see if you can lower those the balances requirements and move that over into a money market. Right now, I think that you're all aware that rates are probably the best they've been in a decade. So you can find money markets out there for 4, 5, or even a little bit higher percentage of a return. And then through the online banking, you're able to, at any level, you can manage your cash flow by moving the cash back and forth from the money market to the operating account in that regard. The other thing that I would say in managing the daily cash flow also is you're probably reading about, and hopefully nobody's had any, but fraud is very prevalent out there. So the other thing that you want to look at is the fraud protection features that are out there, positive pay, where you're able to monitor your check flows in and out. You get a report in the morning, what checks are coming in. You're able to review that report and then send it back to the bank on pay or return and manage it in that way. The other thing with managing your fraud is limiting the check writing that you do. So if you can limit that, utilize more online banking. If you can pay bills, Venmo and things like that. Again, the more that you reduce your check writing, the more that you're increasing your personal fraud protection. Out there, there's a lot of things that are going on the fraud side where people are getting checks. They call it washing the check, and then they change who the payee is. They may change the dollar amount, maybe not, and they run the check through the account. Now, the good news is that if there is fraud on your account, the financial institution is going to stand behind you. The challenge is that, if you're running your funds a little bit tight, you may be out those funds for a day or two, which could impact your day-to-day operation. Okay. On the other one, financing cash flow and growth, lines of credit, loans, etc. So right now, when you think about, I like to say for the businesses that are kind of starting out, don't have a history maybe of generating a lot of cash flow. What we're finding out, and this is talking to our existing business clients and members, is, and I just had this the other day with a large pest control company out in the island, and he's looking at leveraging the credit cards. So a lot of the credit cards have 0% for 6 months or a year. Take advantage of that rate. The other thing is in purchasing, buying merchandise in that. Many of them have a 3% or a 4% cash back. So leveraging, again, those opportunities are beneficial for businesses as well. So the corporate cards have similar cash back features as your personal credit cards as well. So something to think about out there. And again, managing your credit wisely, right? I'm not suggesting go out and charge up the credit card. What I'm saying is look at that from the standpoint of saving merchandise, right, costs, etc. So if you can buy in bulk, take advantage of it in another facet that way. Another way, which I was speaking with the senator on, is the New York State Small Business Center. And these are all in the state schools, and taking advantage of them. And if I may, I'm just going to click on it. I might disappear, but I just wanted to utilize this. So things that they provide, which is phenomenal. They are a true resource. And I direct a lot of my clients here, not just the new startups, but everybody, because there is some phenomenal. They do business consulting, how to start a business, how to grow your business, disaster assistance. So we had some floods and things like that, unfortunately. Entrepreneurial education. If somebody's doing international business, we don't do that at Beth Page, but there are commercial banks that do that. Latino entrepreneurs. selling to the government, technology innovation, veterans, and women and minorities as well. They also have a vast array of training programs. There are 2 locations in Queens, which is LaGuardia and York College as well. And these are, I've been leveraging these for my clients probably over 30 years, and the feedback has been very good, especially for those looking to start a business and helping you develop a business plan. And they have a ton of resources. You can make an appointment. You can go online and make an appointment. The web address would be nysbdc.org/about, ABOUT, .html. And we can get that out to you as well. But that is a phenomenal opportunity. And unfortunately, it's very underutilized. And regardless if you're starting a business or experience, it's a wealth of information. And I will tell you that, us bankers cheat and go back and look at that as well for information and some updates and guidance on how we might be able to help our clients. So I would just like to emphasize that as a phenomenal resource, and I can vouch for it, having had quite a few clients take advantage of that program. On the other things, and also they can look at
Excuse me, Tom.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you there, but just for the participants on the call, would we be able to share that on the chat so we can share with everyone the website, or can you repeat it again? The website?
Yeah, I can repeat it again. Yep, I can repeat it again. I can try and share it, but I'm not the technical.
I'll do it for you. Just...
All right, you'll do it for me. Great. All right. So it's NYS as in Sam, B as in boy, DC.org /about, ABOUT, .html, all lowercase. HT as in Tom, M as in Mary, L as in Larry.
Beautiful. I'll share that with everyone for everyone on the chat. Thank you, Tom. Sorry to interrupt you.
Okay, no, that's great. I appreciate that. That's helpful. Okay. And the other thing that they can help you do is look at getting grants and loans as well. And one of the things that I'll just say on the lending side, I always like to say this to everybody. Bankers, believe it or not, are historians. Past performance usually dictates future performance. So when you're looking at the cash flow, which the banks look at very, very closely, sometimes it's a little bit tight. These organizations can help find funds for you. And a lot of times on the small business side, you're not necessarily looking for large loans. You can go up to $50,000 or so in that regard. The other thing was protecting the business assets and cash flow. A couple of thoughts on that. One is all the businesses, and I'm probably speaking to the choir, but it's worth repeating, I think, is you need to find a good accountant and a good attorney to help you, and they work together. The businesses that I find most successful in my career have been where the attorney and accountant know each other. They've been working with each other due to the business owner, and they help form the plans, short and long-term goals, and help the business owner keep on track, right? You as the business owner in charge of your business, no doubt about that, but it's always good to have second and third opinions, or some, as I like to say, voices in your ear for steering the ship in the direction that you want to go. And there are a lot of attorneys out there, some attorneys, they all do a good job, but some of them are more business consulting, and accountants, CPAs are the same thing, where they're business consulting. And I would urge you to look for those individuals, especially if you're starting, because they're great help in that regard, getting you on your feet. And as you're transitioning towards selling, you want to have somebody like that as well. That would be and again, my advice comes from the experience of my customers. I listen to my clients who've been very successful in their endeavors. The other thing is attracting and retaining employees. I will tell you, this is a challenge for everybody right now, is hiring. I think every job facet has been challenged with that. One of the things that some of the banks, I believe most of them offer, and we do as well, is bank at work programs where we can offer discounts, promotions. It could be preferred rates on savings, CDs. It could be a coupon for $250, $350, depending what the organization is, to kind of get the employee a jump start. We can provide, as Rob mentioned before, financial training, education for the employee base. Actually come in during a lunch hour or after hours, whatever is convenient for the business, and do first time homeowners seminar, talk about the home equity, how best to leverage that and utilize it for opportunities, whether it be college or updating the home, remodeling, etc. And also for short and long-term savings. And that is I like to call it a perk that the business owner gets for banking with the institution, right? And I'm sharing in general for not just Beth Page, because I'm a proponent of shop and take the best opportunities out there. I'm just very confident that we would have one of the best opportunities out there. But I want to do justice by making sure I'm sharing as much knowledge as possible across the board for everybody. So attracting and retaining the employees. We also work with, and I'm sure some other banks do the same thing. We tend to work with some third-party clients of ours that do payroll, they do retirement plans, they do 401k plans. We do have a union that we're working with that wanted to start a 401k plan. So we have an investment arm of Bethpage, and we're getting that set up for the union members. So they don't have a 401k. It's something that they wanted. The members asked for. They came to us, and we were able to do that for them. So these are all things, again, I think that are good to retain employees because of the discounts that they're getting. And a lot of times they're getting, I'll use the word a coupon, or a credit to for signing up for like direct deposit. They might get $250 put into their account. So a nice little, I like to call it a perk. The other thing they want to talk about with building and preserving wealth, right, is also, again, going back, leveraging your attorney, leveraging your CPA, and finding a financial advisor who could be your personal one, or as you're networking, and I'll talk to you about that, finding out a few of them. And what I would recommend is interview them, right? Interview them as if you were interviewing an employee, and give them a challenge. Give them a scenario of, if I had X, if I had Y, what would you do with that? And I want to go back to the attorneys and the CPAs, the same thing. You should interview your CPA and attorney and make sure that you're on the same page and somebody you can work with. If somebody came to me and say, "Hey, Tom, can you recommend an attorney?" I'm always recommending 3, not any one, because I think part of it is you need to melt with the person, right? You've got to have a great attorney who's great, who is like a doctor, doesn't have good bedside manner. How comfortable are you going to be with that individual? So interviewing everybody that you have helping you with your business, I think, is an important part of growing your business and keeping your business going. And again, that it was a few things that I learned for some really large, well, they weren't large. They were medium companies that grew large, and that was their best practices as well. The other thing that I wanted to touch about was online banking. Again, using your online banking to save time, also to, again, limit the fraud as much as possible that you could have there. So what we normally do is we would look at those 5 key things, just to kind of give you an idea of how, as you're sitting down with a banker, and I'll add a couple other comments on the banking side. We'd sit down with the banker, those 5 things, and I'd ask pretty much high, medium, or low to rank each of those items. And then what we'd want to do is focus in on what you're saying is the high priority, what's keeping you up most at night. Go back, put our thoughts together, and then come back with hopefully 2 or 3 solutions and not just one solution. The other thing I'm going to say, I think will surprise a lot of people, is you should always have 2 banks. I'll repeat that. You should always have 2 banks. Credit union bank bank, you should always have two banks. And you should always, challenge them against each other. Keep them on your toes. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I like when it happens. I like to be viewed as the top of the funnel. Come to me. You can come to me and say, X bank can do what? What can you do? I think that's good for competition. I think it's great for the business owners as well. And the rationale for that, and I'll say this for the businesses that have been around for a while and maybe borrowing at a larger strain, is what happens is sometimes we have the economy where it gets a little tight, and then what happens is the lending kind of tightens up, and then everybody's looking to go to a new bank to get the new loan. And when that happens, a lot of times, remember, the banks are trying to take care of their own clientele before they can start helping the new client coming on. So if you always have two banks, you work with two banks, your opportunities of making sure that you're in a good standing, so to speak, is certainly beneficial to everyone. And that's pretty much what I had as far as highlights. I hope I touched all of the different levels of business banking. And if anybody has any questions, I'll certainly try to answer them.
Any questions at this point? I want to say, Tom, thank you. And, obviously giving us your input based on what you heard from your clients. Again, when your client speaks out to you, they're speaking out for many businesses that we all have in our little neck of the woods as well. They're speaking out for other businesses. So again, for you to share that personal, connection with you and your clients tonight, I appreciate that. I'm going to kick off to one question that I have is, have you seen an uptick in businesses looking out for services pre-COVID, post-COVID, now that we've gone through the COVID pandemic? So in an effort to see a recovery, you can compare now pre-COVID numbers to post-COVID numbers. Have you seen a rise in more businesses reaching out for assistance?
Yes, that's a great question. COVID really, I don't have to tell everybody, took us for a loop, right? And I think that the PPL loans were fantastic, that helped the businesses get through. But I'm seeing at this time that we're back to a normalcy. I'll say there's still certain types of industries that are struggling a little bit, but overall, looking at the activity, when I look at the activity, what's coming in, what's going out, flowing in and out, I would say that we're moving in the right direction. I'm not an economist, so can't go there, but we're hearing things that rates may be coming down again. So I think that will help the businesses with the lending a little bit. Over the last few weeks, mortgage rates have come down a bit, so I think that that's helping as well. It's kind of the yin and the yang. So if I'm saving, if I'm in a stage where I'm saving, I like the 5%. If I'm borrowing, I don't like the 8%, right? So it's kind of where you are in the moment. But we are, what I'm seeing in general is there's lending still going on, which is good. And I think that businesses, if I may, just need to, what we talked about is tighten up a little bit on your savings, watching I like to call it the nickels and dimes, but it's more than that, as everybody knows, but kind of the old saying, watching your pennies, maximizing where the interest rates are high, look where the money markets are high, and whatever you can put in there, get in there. And managing your money day to day is more key than ever before. Right. So moving as much as you can over to a savings or money market and then moving it back day to day, it takes work, but I think that is something that will benefit.
And Tom, I do a podcast called Where Do We Go From Here? It's basically, after we do a discussion, where do we go from here? Is there something that the legislators can do, in your opinion, to help the small businesses or those who are helping small businesses? And is there an issue that maybe the legislators or even the businesses should look out for? Because you mentioned inflation coming up down the road. Is that something that we should be wary of? So how can we help going forward? And is there anything we should be mindful of going forward?
Well, I think what you're doing right now is phenomenal. I think that where businesses help one another is those networking groups, providing access to education I think is key. I think getting, as I said, if we can get in, do a networking event, get an economist as to giving, again, they don't have a crystal ball, but they can help guide what the future looks like. And that alone would help businesses kind of know, next 3 months, what do I need to brace for, 6 months, a year out. So I think anything around the educational piece is paramount. I'm a big advocate of networking. Trying to get businesses that can help one another succeed. I can give you one long time example that worked out very well. I had a commercial real estate owner of real estate with buildings, right? He needed heating oil, right? I had one of the heating oil customer as well, and they were both at the, I don't want to say the end of their business, but we're about maybe 5-7 years, they're going to transition it to the children or sell it. So I had a great tax attorney and estate planning attorney, and putting them together. And I know that they still have that relationship going to today. So, where we can look at that, and that's what I would challenge. If I had something to say, I would challenge all the business owners as, what do you need? And where can you go for those resources? And if you're not sure where to go for the resources, that's where you go to your local bank, right? And you ask for the business bankers, and pick their brain. And again, I'm not a hard sell guy, but if you want to ring me up, by all means, I take all calls, and would be happy to help you to the best of my ability and guide you to the resources that I know, et cetera.
Again, I thank you, Tom. And my office and I, we're not done with Small Business Month, National Small Business Month in May. We're not done. We do have other things planned, and part of it is education, getting as much information out there for the small businesses. I want to offer any questions at all for any of our participants. They're seeing none. Again, that those who are listening, know to reach out either to Bethpage Federal Credit Union or to others. I think it's critically important so that they have the information needed to make decisions. Once again, I want to thank Bethpage Federal Credit Union for their partnership, for their work in the communities, but certainly helping others. That's your mission statement, obviously, to help others. So I want to thank the Bethpage Federal Credit Union team. I want to thank my team, Anne-Marie Costello, my press secretary and special events coordinator. Thank you so much. If there's no other questions, I want to wish everyone a great night.
Thank you. Have a good night, everybody. Appreciate the time.
Have a great night, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you.
We have a question. We have a question.
Got a question. Okay.
We have a question from.
I'm so
right,
sorry. I was driving. I'm
All right,
sorry.
We want you to
How
be
are you?
careful while you're driving.
Exactly. That's what took me. I had dropped off my 7-year-old and I'm running to the bank and I have like cash in my hand and I'm trying to listen to this. Everything that you said is very interesting. Thank you for putting that in the link. I'm definitely going to look into that state college business resource assistance. I'm actually amazed there's nobody else on here. All these places I go to now, nobody's there for all these free resources. So it really, I don't know, it's kind of amazing to me. But thank you all for being here and offering your advice. I'm actually wondering your advice on something. If we owned a restaurant and we weren't able to get PPE because we were open, our grand opening was St. Patrick's Day of 2020.
Oh,
So
wow.
we kind of went straight in and we didn't have any revenue to look back on. Thank God we had strong community support. We were in Forest Hills, pull over. But we ended up staying open for about 3 years. We still, we employed a lot of people locally. We're a small business, like 1.2 million in revenue, not big, but we sold our piece and went back into our other industry where we had a small LLC last April, and that was film. And we went into back-to-back strikes. So it was like, oh my God. So I said, okay, I've had it. I'm going into something now, which is going to have, scalability and will not be held to one particular physical location. So I'm starting something now that's on in the manufacturing sector. And it's, a lot less of a capital investment. You need $250,000 to start a restaurant. and then if there's a pandemic, you need another 500,000 to keep it going.
Right.
But that being said, this is something that it's not a big capital investment. But we've taken such a tremendous hit that, we went back and we were aiming to go back into an industry where we already had a reputation. That industry was kind of knocked around. Even now, we just did a production and the guy can't afford to pay people. It's a mess. We're out thousands of dollars. It's just been a lot of back to back. So I'm looking to do something else to kind of diversify. But where would somebody who has business experience and has been able to, show profitability in the past, but has taken a huge financial hit. Like, I haven't gone bankrupt or anything, but my credit is shot because we had to, I never didn't pay people. Our people always got paid, even in the worst of times. But our personal credit was completely shot, and I'm like, okay, I see, not to say like Donald Trump, but big people who have gone bankrupt and had real terrible things and then go right back into business. And I have a fabulous business plan. And it's something that, while small, could be a mom and pop that can be profitable relatively quickly. I know how to work with numbers, great manufacturers, all made in the US, everything's worked out. It's just a matter of like a small capital infusion, like $25,000 to $50,000, not large. And then it has the ability to scale as my child grows older. If I take on other people, I'm able to allow it to grow outside of the local area. But we want to do a lot of local support. And we always did that with our restaurant too. So how would a person like me, who has all this background, but has taken I can't go into a bank. Nobody's going to give me money now because I look like, some maniac, but I'm not. It's just been kind of a terrible set of circumstances. How would a person like me get a small cash infusion with a great business plan, something that anybody could read and see, oh, okay, I see where the money is, where it's coming from. It's very sensible. Where would somebody like me go? What would I do?
So what I would start is the SBDC. I would start there.
The link that you sent.
Exactly. I would start there, and you could reach out to me as well. I'll help you with that. I had, again, I'm not sure how bad your credit is. That don't need to know that. But I did have some people, young couples starting out, and they were into the vegan, and they were doing the food truck, and then the food truck they wanted to spin into a restaurant in Hudson, New York, and they didn't really have anything to really put together, and we went to Albany, worked with the organization, and they were able to get a small loan, and kick it off. So their credit wasn't stellar. I don't, but I think the opportunity is to start there with the conversation, because you bring up a point that most business owners don't have, unfortunately. And you said it, and my ears, sprung up. You have a detailed business plan. Okay. And based on your experience in business, I would bet that it's a pretty strong plan. And so a lot of the government support areas are looking at that plan. They're looking at the value and the depth of that plan. And then talking through what didn't work in the past, and that we can have that conversation with them. I can go my Rolodex. I think Michael is his name, up in Albany. He's the one who did the vegan deal. So I could, I'll reach out to him and just kind of get some general.
Oh,
and
thank
then,
you so much. That
no,
would be
happy to do
wonderful.
that.
Senator
Happy to do
Addabbo, I
that.
know you were in our restaurant. We had Dylan's of Forest Hills on Metropolitan
my
Avenue.
gosh.
And Anne Marie, I think you helped us when we had some I remember calling somebody there. It might have been you at the office, because I'm sure there were a lot of restaurants during the pandemic, but like National Grid knocked down our $80,000 outside place. It was just money. It was like a succubus. But like you said, I have numbers here that are very clear. It's a very, It's a very easy to understand situation, and it's a very small capital infusion.
A business plan is very powerful. It's even powerful, when people are going for term loans, et cetera. The more information the bank has, as I said earlier, bankers, as when I started learning credit many years ago, the first thing they told me is we're historians, right? We look at the
Yes.
history. Past performance is going to dictate most times future performance. So the more that the banking industry or organization you're working with, the more they know about you, the more they see your thought process in there. When it's on the fence, so to speak, I like to say, is a lot of times they'll go, you know what, I like the plan. Let's take a shot.
Yeah.
Where a lot of people come in and say, you know what, I want to start a business. I need $25,000. Okay. What we like to also say, what skin in the game do you have, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
That's true.
what are you willing, right?
Yeah.
If you're willing to put your blood, your sweat, right, tears in it, you got a solid plan. And again, in your past, as you said, you had what we would call abnormal or anomalies happen.
Back to back. Oh my
So,
God, it's
right?
crazy. I couldn't believe
So-
that strike happened. Then the second one, I was
Yeah.
like, you gotta be kidding me.
Right.
But I mean, and I have some financial skin in the game, like making the relationships with the accountant, with the attorney. I have trademarks in process. So there are things happening, but it's
Right.
not, it's that like, I just need capital infusion to have
Right.
the manufacturing done, essentially.
Understood, but here you
Yeah.
go. Trademarks in that. Okay, so that's unique. You're not hearing a lot of that in the business world, right? So when you're going to the SBDCs, right? So you're coming with a well-written plan. Sounds like you've thought it out in good detail. And I'd like to help you by, let me make a call to, I'm pretty sure it's Michael, and see what we can do. How do I get in touch with you? Senator, how do we get in touch with you?
I can put my name, I can put my information in the chat.
Can
Yeah, I
you
would
do
help.
that? Well, not while you're driving now.
No, I pulled over. I
Okay.
pulled over. And my son is not in the car saying, Mommy, Mommy. I'm like, I'm on a meeting, honey. I'm on a call. So,
You know what,
and
Marie? If just to be safe, because I know this is being recorded, it's going to be going.
Oh,
to-
yes.
It'll be best. Why don't you contact Anne Marie? And
Right.
Oh, okay.
we
Yes.
can definitely then follow from there.
and I put it in the chat too. But yes, I'll do that as well.
Yeah, do that just in case for privacy. Yep.
And I just took a
absolutely.
screenshot so I have everybody's name on there too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
good.
you so much for all of your help.
okay.
I'm sorry to hold you all up with
You
my
did
question.
not hold us up. This is what we're here for.
What we're here for.
Exactly.
Right.
Marie, by the way, I do remember your restaurant on Metropolitan Avenue. Great live music, great burgers.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
tell you, great burgers.
Oh,
We miss you. We do. But hopefully there's a
Yeah.
way we can help. If my office can be of any help, let me know. Again, not a problem. But thanks for being on here. And this is what it's all about, Marie. It's exactly what
thank
it's
you
all
for
about.
doing this. And
No.
I'm looking forward to employing local people again.
Thank
It
you.
won't be long. So, and giving back
That's
to the
right.
community. We already have plans for it.
Excellent.
There
All right.
you go.
So we will be in touch shortly.
Thank you so much, Tom. And thank you,
You're
Mr.
welcome.
I should say Mr. Fenn, Mr. Dowell, Ms. Costello,
No,
Mr.
no.
Suarez, Mr.
No,
Harrington.
no.
Yeah. Yeah, when I hear Mr. Fenn, I'm looking over my shoulder if my father's coming for me.
Thank you.
Well, this has been great. I'm happy that at least, to your point, Marie, we wish there was a sold out room and standing
Yeah.
room because there's so many great benefits here, and this is what it is, a small forum or big. At least we're giving you the opportunity to ask those questions and hopefully things will work out.
If we can help
I-
one person every time, that's a step
Right.
forward.
You're right.
Listen, when we had the restaurant, we used to do thinking parties, and I would have people come in and discuss local topics and bring them together. And moms are especially on my heart because I'm a mom, and I know not a lot of moms have resources. So I already have other people in the neighborhood who I've spoken with to do, to bring moms together to make them aware of things like this so that they can move forward. And do things like self-defense class, and then you have a conversation like this or promote it, so those are already in the works. Like I said, I'm working it. I just don't have enough money for the manufacturer. So, but I thank you so much. And I appreciate all of your help.
Well, we'll put our heads together and see what we can get done.
Thank you. And have a
Sure.
wonderful weekend, guys.
Likewise,
You as
too.
well.
Thank you.
Senator, thank you again for the opportunity. Greatly appreciate it.
Tom,
Yes,
you're
Senator, thank you.
You
And
did
Anne
great.
Thanks,
Marie as well,
Senator.
too. Thank you.
Marie. Thank you so much. Listen, everyone, have a great night and a great weekend. Thanks so much.
Take care. Thank you.
All
Likewise,
right,
sir. Have a
thank
good
you.
evening,
Have a great
everyone.
weekend.
Take
Bye
care.
bye.